Come have a seat and sip some tea. It's tech, entertainment, and art.
Okay, welcome everyone. We're ready. Sean gave me the 2 thumbs up, so that means the show's about to start. Welcome to another episode of Tea Talk. Sean and I haven't actually sat down and recorded for a while. You're probably not gonna notice that. You're still gonna get your episode every 2 weeks, because like we've mentioned before, we record a lot of episodes ahead of time, just so that we can have the luxury on skipping out on some weeks and whatnot. But it's been like 2 weeks since Sean and I recorded, so maybe more, maybe like 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, something like that.
So yeah, so we have a lot to talk about basically. I have a lot to talk about, just to give people an idea of what I'm going to talk about. Number one, I'm going to talk about the Oculus Quest, a VR headset. I bought 2 of them. Now, I didn't buy one. No, I bought 2 because I want to use one, and then when it runs out of battery, I'll put on the other one. I'm kidding. It's just one for me and one for my wife.
Do they interact? Do they interact together?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You can play multiplayer games on it. So that's why we got 2. I'm gonna talk about a new custom build computer that I bought that it's waiting for.
Oh.
I'm gonna talk about Google Stadia. Stadia, it's Google's virtual console. I tried it. I tried the free month. I still have that trial. I just played it for like a week, and then I'm probably never gonna play it again. And then the other thing I want to talk about is a little bit of animation. I've been doing 2D animation on Photoshop, and it's pretty interesting the way it works. So I want to talk about my thoughts on it, because I've animated in 2D and also in like Toon Boom and Harmony and whatnot. And I've learned a few techniques that hopefully, if someone is listening in the audience that is interested in animation, maybe some of the things that I've learned as I've been working on some things that just make my life easier. Maybe they'll be able to benefit from that. Obviously, this is not going to be like a step-by-step tutorial, because that doesn't really work on podcasts. It's just going to be like thoughts and ideas on like little nuggets of insight that can help someone that's animating on Photoshop. Some ideas. Anyway, so that's kind of like the summary of what I'm going to talk about, Sean, today. Well, how about you? Do you have a summary of what you're going to talk about?
I don't have a summary. Well, I do, I guess, kind of. I have 3 things. One, I want to talk about a computer I got, Alienware. I've had it for a while, but one thing I had to change on it. I want to talk about the NBA season, how it's supposed to start up again. And then last but not least, a book project I have.
Ooh, I think I know about that book project. Yeah. Let's see. I can't wait to start talking about it. Okay, so let's begin. I'm gonna start, and then we'll just. I have 4 things that I'm gonna talk about. You have 3, so I'll start, and then we'll just jump back and forth.
Okay.
It'll end all nicely. So what I'm gonna talk about, basically everything that I'm gonna talk about is just gonna be short thoughts and reviews. It's not going to be super in-depth stuff. So for the first thing is the Oculus Quest. The Oculus Quest is a VR headset that it's standalone, meaning you do not need to hook it up to a virtual reality ready computer or VR capable computer, I should say. Most VR headsets, all they do is that they're like headphones for your eyes, and just like headphones, the headphones don't produce the music, right? They whatever's producing the music, you attach headphones to it. If you're listening on the music on your phone, and you're listening through your headphones, sure, but your headphones are not making the music, right? It's your phone. So headsets have been the same way. VR headsets are the same way. Except now with the Oculus Quest, and I think Panasonic or someone else made also like a standalone headset or whatever, but it's not. I don't think it's in the market. The only one standalone that's like full blown in the market and always selling out every month is the Oculus Quest. So it's really cool, because that means that you just put the headset on and you get the controllers and you're ready to go. and I'm happy to. That's what they promised, right? And I'm happy to say that I was surprised at how that is actually true.
Does it have games
The only
built
thing
into
that
it, or?
Yes, it has many free games and many free experiences, but it also has a storefront, just like the Play Store and just like the Apple Store. It works the same. It looks pretty much the same, and then it's curated with VR things. So the only thing that I had to wait for was for the headset to update, which only took like 5 minutes because I have pretty fast internet. But after that, everything is just completely seamless. You put the headset on, everything just starts working immediately. You don't have to wait. There's no loadings. Every game is really small in terms of like size, not well in terms of actual size of the game, but also in like the data size. Like the biggest game is like 400 megabytes. So with high speed internet, you can download that really quick. So yeah, like I was so surprised that it just works. The headset has motion tracking, and it has like I forget what's that called. So it places the headset knows where it is in terms of like the world. It has sensors, so it's like it knows where the floor is. It's like some kind of GPS tracking.
Yeah.
Gyroscopes, some kind of something that's going inside of it, and like when you turn it on, another cool thing that it has is that it has cameras, really cheap cameras that can only record in like black and white, but it has cameras in front just so that when you have the headset, you can actually see around, and you're not like blinded by it. But like I said, really cheap like 80s cameras that are like no color and like the they didn't spend a lot of money on that, and it's understandable because the headset is actually really cheap, and I'm gonna talk about that later. But anyway, once I put it on, it automatically is like whoop, it throws a grid on the ground telling you, hey, we got you, we know where the ground is.
Wow.
But then it's like, if we get it wrong, you can use your controller and you can put it on the floor, and then the headset will register from the controller. It's like, oh, okay, so where the controller is, it's where the floor is, so I'm gonna redo it. But I didn't have to do that. It just knew.
Did you ever run into the wall or anything, or into your bed?
No. So no. Because then the first thing that happens when you put on the headset is that it'll tell you, it'll show you what's around you, right? It'll activate the camera so you can see. It'll tell you where the ground is. You can see where the walls is and everything. And then it will tell you, draw the wall, like draw the space that you can work in. And you, with your controller, you literally aim to the ground and it has like a laser, and you start drawing a perimeter. That's as far as you can go. Mm-hmm. And then what it'll do is that if you ever get close to that perimeter, a grid will come up and it's like, whoop, no, you can't go that direction while you're playing games. So it's like a safety mechanism. It's crazy. It's like the future, bro. And so yeah, so you do that. It's called Guardian Space. It's what they call it. You can outline it, or you can just choose stationary, and what it'll do is that it'll throw a circle that's like 1 feet in diameter around you, like 1 or 2 feet in diameter. The circle, and that means that you can only like you won't move from anywhere. You just kind of like, you'll just rotate in one place. So yeah, so then you do that, and then you start playing, and it's just like, it's crazy how good the graphics are. There's no latency. Like there's, everything moves the way that you think it would move. What was the other thing that I wanted to say about it that was really, really impressive? Yeah, well, anyway, I don't know. It just works the way that you want it to work, and I was surprised by that because it's not attached to anything. It's completely wireless. There's no cables going to the headset to the controllers. Completely 100% wireless, and you can get that awesome headset for only $400, $399.
That's not bad.
So it's crazy that
bad.
it's not only standalone, but it's actually the cheapest headset out there. If you get like a HTC Vive, which is not a standalone, you need to have it hooked up to a VR capable computer. It costs you $600.
What?
But with this one, it's by itself, it's standalone, and it's only $499. Of course, there are those other headsets have like better resolution and things like that. But the other thing that really sold me on this headset is that you can also hook it up to a VR capable computer, and it will work like a regular VR headset. Because as you can imagine, because the headset is standalone and it's a little thing hooked up to your face, the processing power of it is not that great. So you do have a lot of experiences available for the Oculus Quest, but it's very limited. And the ones that you do have, the games that they are available for it, they all have to be like downgraded to be able to work with the VR, with the Oculus Quest, to the point where they look way worse than their regular VR headset counterparts. Like the graphics look way worse.
So I have a question about, okay, so like,
Yeah.
I know PlayStation video games, I know Xbox video games, Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
Does the Oculus Quest, it's completely standalone, or you can interact
100%
with...
standalone, like a Nintendo Switch.
It's so okay. It
Same
doesn't,
thing.
and it has no connection with any of the three primary consoles. It's not owned by
No.
PlayStation.
In fact, it's even more standalone than these consoles, because this console you still need a TV to play on with them. With the Oculus Quest, you don't even need a TV.
You don't even TV. Okay.
And you can cast what someone is playing on the Oculus Quest on your phone too, because when you the other thing that you do the actual first thing that you do when you get the headset is that it tells you to download the app for your phone. The app will make everything easier because you can even download games from it and a lot of things. And the app is registered to your headset specifically, and you can cast it with just one button on the app. So if I ever bring it, when the coronavirus, hopefully the things improve and maybe I can go visit you, I can take the headset. You can start using it, and Naomi can see what you're seeing with with the phone. I can like activate it. And boom, she can see where you're playing and whatnot.
That's crazy.
So it's really crazy. It's really cool. We met another friend couple that we have on VR, since we can meet them on real life. They both also have got VRs. When we got 2 VRs, they already have with the 1 VR, that couple. But we went straight for the 2, my wife and I. So then the other couple, the wife also got another one. So now all 4 of us have the Oculus Quests. And we met on a virtual space, like a private virtual room, and it feels like the real thing, man. Like, even though what you're seeing is like computer graphic characters, like it really feels like that person is right next to you.
Do you have to hold the remotes?
Yeah, you have remotes, and the remotes control your hands, and you can make gestures with your hands. And as you know, I'm involved with in a sign language program, so we can do sign language in the game as well. Oh, wow. Limited, but we can do sign language. But it was so real that I got close to the friend, to the husband, and like it felt like we were too close, like we were like invading personal space. So we were like, hey, back off a little bit. That's kind of how it feels when you're using that VR headset. You can also watch have like a fake movie theater in VR, and it feels like you're in a movie theater. Because it'll project the screen in such a way that it feels like the screen is huge, and like it really gets, you really feel like that. Because apart from another thing that the VR headset had is that it also, all VR headset have built-in 3D technology, so it works like 3D glasses as well when you go to the movie theaters, and it has that same effect as well. It can do that, and it can also not do that. If the developer of the app doesn't want it to do that. So it's very versatile. Anyway, I recommend, not recommend it. I think that eventually VR headsets are gonna be like in every household. That's kind of like my thought on it in the future. I think that right now VR headsets are like early computers where some people have them, some people don't. But VR, it's going to get so cheap. And I guess I should have started with that. That's why I think I don't think that people are going to have VR because VR is so cool. I think that they're going to have it because, one, it is so cool. But second, it is so cheap. Already, you can get a standalone VR headset for $100. In 5 years, that headset is going to be $200. At that point, why not get one?
Yeah.
And it's really compact. You can buy a case for it, and you can just pack it up, and it's just all in one case, really nice, really small and tight. Maybe I'll show it to you later. And you can just like put it away, no problem. So having multiple headsets in a household can also be a thing. And then people would just meet each other in VR.
Do you find it cumbersome? Like that, I think that was one thing about the Wii.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like Nintendo doesn't really have that. I mean, they do. You can still have games where you're moving and doing that stuff, but
Yeah,
It's
but it's not
not
the same though. Not even close. But yeah,
okay.
but it's somewhat similar.
Interesting. I don't
But
know.
yeah,
I still think, mark my words, unless you can just sit there and not move, eventually I think VR is going to go the same way that the Wii did, where it'll be a feature in video games, but it's not going to be like prominent.
yeah, maybe you can sit on it. There's like an actual. That is a way of actually using it. Like, well, the headset even will tell you, like, it'll show you a graphic of a man like sitting down, and it'll show you how to use it sit down. And some apps you have to be it's better if you're sitting down. Like the app that I told you where we met the other couple in VR. The whole app is about sitting around together in like a fireplace or like a room. So the app has no feature for you to be standing up. You have to be sitting down. If you're standing up, you're just wasting your time. In fact, you'll look weird in the game if you're standing up because your character then will be, because the headset is a little bit higher, your character will be like a little bit higher than everyone else because the app is just made from the ground up to be sitting down because that's what it's about. But I think you might be right? That we don't really know what's going to happen in the future. We can't say. But there's so many. It's not just about gaming. That's the thing about the app. And we actually didn't get it because of gaming. We got it mainly because of concerts. Because the last concert that my wife and I went to, we spent like $1,200 to be able to get there and see because we have to go somewhere. We have to go to LA, and we stayed in a hotel and it was an entire trip.
Yeah.
So in that case, you might think, well, in that case, Abdiel, that doesn't really make sense to me anyway, because in that case, it's kind of like about the journey. It's not about the destination, right? And in that case, it was true. It was not just the concert, but also just going to LA and doing all that stuff. Yeah. But sometimes it's just about the destination. Sometimes we don't go to a concert because it's far away. Sometimes we would like to go to it if it was closer, but we can't because it's too far and we're not going to make the trip. Yeah. So in that case, my wife was she's all into music a lot. So she really liked that angle of it, where you get the VR heads. Both of the VR headsets were just $800, and VR tickets are pretty cheap as well. So going to a VR concert would cost less than going to like an actual concert that we went.
I just wonder what the audio would sound like. So the VR headset picks up your audio, transmits it, and then it goes to the other headsets. I'm assuming it's probably not the best audio quality.
It is really good audio quality, bro. Huh? It's like really, really good.
Interesting.
That was the other thing that made it like uncanny when we met on VR in that VR room, because I was like hearing his voice. The voices of this couple were crisp, bro, crisp. Like they were like right next to me. Huh. I think this Oculus, which they are the company that's most ahead in VR. They're a Facebook company. They are designing this thing with all those things in mind. They're like, we want VR.
It's almost like a social media platform.
Yes. I mean, it's Facebook that owns the thing.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think they're making it with that in mind. They're like, we want people to like live in computers from now on. And of course, I'm not. That's something that even puts me off a little bit. I don't like the idea of it. Doesn't replace like meeting someone in real life at all. But it's just a fun activity to do. Yeah. Anyway, so that's it. Let's move on. I talked about that for a long time. We went a little bit over than I intentioned, but yeah, it's been a while since we talked. Go ahead. Go ahead with what you wanted to talk about.
I forgot what I was going to talk about. Oh yeah, the computer. The computer. So I bought an Alienware computer last year in November. Beautiful piece of hardware. And I got it. I did a lot of research. I watched a lot of YouTube videos. This one was featured as a gaming computer. A lot of gamers liked it. Alienware is a gaming computer company. It's an offshoot of HP,
Dell.
Right?
Oh, I thought it was Dell.
Dell. I'm sorry, Dell. Yeah, you're right, Dell.
Yeah. Dell bought the company. Alienware used to be its own thing.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah. Dell bought it, and I love everything about it. The hardware's great. I previously had a Mac computer. I'm a video editor. We do photos as well. My wife edits photos. every time I was in the Mac computer, I think it had 256 gigabytes of memory. It would always give me trouble because I had music on the Mac computer. I had other stuff, and there was never enough space on the computer. Okay. And with Adobe and stuff like that, you need to bring in your files. They have to be somewhere. So they could be on a separate drive or something like that, but somewhere, which for me, it's just easier to have. I hate carrying around a drive like around my computer. They have to be somewhere where Adobe can access them. So the easiest place for that to be is on the computer. So anyway, I bought this computer. Great. It has 2 drives. One solid state. One is what's the other one?
A hard drive disk.
Hard drive disk. So the hard drive disk was the main one, I think. But either way, it was smaller.
It might be the other way around. Usually, they make the solid state drive the main, and then the hard drive the secondary.
Okay, that was
the hard
what
drive
it was.
usually has more space, but it's lower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the hard drive had a terabyte, which is plenty of space. Great.
Yeah.
The main drive had 128 gigs, which
usually they're very small.
Super small.
Yeah.
So, just like 20 pictures, bringing them into Lightroom, it was already too full, and I couldn't edit it because it couldn't save the data. So anyway, I brought it into Best Buy. Best Buy replaced the main drive, and you might be asking yourself, why just save all your photos on the secondary drive? Adobe does not let you put your files. You can put your files on the secondary drive. Adobe doesn't let you put the programs on a secondary drive. It has to be on the primary drive. So however small, if you're thinking about getting a computer, the smaller your primary drive, it's going to mess you up. Because Adobe won't let you do it. I've watched programs, I've watched YouTube videos, I was trying to mess around like with uploading and loading, won't do it. No matter what your settings are, Adobe's always going to go to the primary drive.
I didn't know that. That's good to know.
So, so then I just brought it in, but it was fine because I happened to get this computer on a, it was like a holiday, like it was marked down like $600 or something like that. Something crazy.
Wow.
So of course I bought it. It was great.
Okay.
And what were we going to say?
Does it have a graphics card?
Yeah.
Do you know which one it is? Do you know the name?
Don't know.
No.
I'm not a gamer, so I didn't really pay attention to the graphics card. And in all honesty, like it doesn't really affect me too much on my end that I'm aware of. But anyway, so so then just updating the space on the computer. So I'm glad it's over. I have it back. It's back in my house, back to editing and stuff like that. So.
Okay. Yeah, having a graphics card does give you other features on Photoshop, for example, and also other programs, but it's not necessary. But it will unlock features if you have a graphics card.
Oh, okay.
Like one of the smallest things that I actually appreciate a lot is that if you have a graphics card, the Photoshop will let you zoom much more dynamically than if you don't have a graphics card. If you don't have a graphics card, you have to click to zoom, click, and it'll like
expand
zoom
it
every time you click. If you have a graphics card, you can just hold down, click, move back and forth the mouse, and it'll just like dynamically go back and forth.
Okay.
Because the graphics card will allows the Photoshop to process graphics much more faster, so you can do that. So that's just one thing. I know there's more things, but yeah, it's not super necessary for like video editing and things like that.
For Photoshop, like I can do like 5 or 6 things, and I pretty much do them. That's like all I do in Photoshop. I don't really dive too deep into Photoshop because my main focus is like video and stuff like that. So
totally.
What?
So question. So what you did is that you took the computer in and you told them to change the drive for a bigger one.
Mm-hmm.
Did they charge you for that?
Yeah.
How much did they charge you, if you don't mind me asking? I mean, it's not a big deal.
To change the drive or the drive itself?
Everything, like the drive and the change.
Like,
I didn't know that Best Buy would do that.
It was like the drive. I think that was like 200 something, and then for them to do it, it was like another 180 or something like that. So at the end of the day, it was like 400.
Maybe I should do that because I could have totally done that for you. But we live really far away.
Yeah, there's people who could have done it, but then like Best Buy has like a guarantee, and I was like, I don't even
Oh
want,
yeah, you don't want to ruin that.
I think they guarantee the equipment for like 3 months or something like that, and
Okay,
um,
okay, that's cool.
but yeah, I know people who
Well,
could have done it for me, and I just didn't want to bother with it.
yeah, that's understandable. Okay, so now what's the size of the new SSD that you got?
Terabyte.
1 TB.
So I got
Okay.
2 TB on my computer, and terabyte of space on Adobe. So ready to rock and
You're
roll.
set, bro.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna move on to the next subject, and since you were talking about computers, I'm gonna talk about the computer that I got. So I just bought a custom-made computer from a website called NZXT.
Ooh.
They are a really, really nice company. I really like them a lot. And the reason is because they essentially custom build computers for you, and they charge you almost nothing to do that. They charge you like $50 or something like that.
What?
For $50
To build
like,
it,
if I
but
were
not
to
the
build a
parts and
computer-
stuff.
No, exactly. So, but if I were to build a computer myself, if I were to buy each component and put it together myself, it would cost me, a certain amount of money. If I do it through them, it'll only cost me $50 more. That's it.
It's worth
So
it.
why on earth would I do it by myself? And then they also guarantee the entire thing for 2 years.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
And they do like professional cable management. They pack it out real nice for you. So I was like, I did build a computer myself like 5 years ago, but I was like, you know what, I'm not gonna bother. I'm just gonna do it through these people, and I just want to get it that way.
Do you have it yet?
No, it's gonna arrive Friday.
Ooh.
I'm super excited for it. I'm gonna let you know real quick the specs. A lot of this is not gonna make sense for you, but you're just gonna have to bear with me, Sean. Hopefully, it'll make sense to be someone that's listening. So I bought a 2 signature NZXT items. One, it's the computer case. They have a really nice aluminum computer case that I got. It's called the NZXT H710. Then I bought the other thing that is it's proprietary to NZXT. It's this thing called the Kraken X63, and that makes what are we talking about here? Is this like some beast from the depth of the seas that you got?
Kraken.
No, it's a cooling system for the CPU. It's a liquid cooling system for the CPU. That's why it's called Kraken, because it's a liquid cooling system. I got an Asus motherboard. It's Asus ROG, which means Republic of Gamers Strix Z490.
Now I do. Okay, let me stop you there. I do know. I've heard that the Asus that is like
they're the best.
They're the best, right? Well, the one at the top, like
in PC.
Yeah.
In PC, I don't trust anyone except Asus. Basically, they've never let me down. I'm using an Asus laptop right now. It's the thinnest thing you've ever seen in your life, and it's packed with like an 8th generation i7, an NVIDIA GeForce card. It gets hot like crazy, I have to say, because it's so small, but it's super powerful and super durable. I really pushed these things to the limits. And what I like about Asus, if someone asks me what's the one thing, you're saying that they're awesome, but that doesn't mean anything. What's the one thing that makes them awesome? Is their durability. Asus stuff is like Apple. The
hardware.
Their hardware. It just lasts you forever. It doesn't break. It's really high quality components. So I've had problems my entire life with PCs where different things will break down. When I buy Asus, it just works forever.
Yeah.
Nothing breaks down. So yeah, the last custom made computer that I made, I bought everything was Asus, except for the graphic card. When it broke down, guess what? It broke down.
Graphics card.
The graphic card. So and then the rest of it, I gave it to a friend. He's using it right now. He bought a different graphics card, and he's still using those components, and they're like 8 years old.
Yeah.
So I got the Asus motherboard. It comes with Bluetooth, wireless. It has like USB-C, like 4 USB-C slots. a ton of other USB slots. It's just a huge beast of a motherboard. This time I bought an Asus graphics card, an RTX 2080 Super, 8 gigabytes of RAM, of memory, and it comes in with just the graphics card. So you know how computers have memory, graphics card also have memories. This one has like 8 gigabytes alone. Some computers, like the entire computer, has 8 gigabytes of memory. This is like, I have 16 gigabytes of memory for the computer and then 8 gigabytes of memory on the graphics card. Wow. I bought a 10th generation i7 Intel Core. And then let's see what else. And that's basically, and then the other thing that makes sense for our listeners is I got a 1 terabyte SSD like you did and a 2 terabyte hard drive disk.
Okay, man.
So yeah. So I bought it, custom made for graphic design. It was not cheap. So it should, be able to do a lot and to process a lot of power. The reason why I actually got it is because as I was animating in Photoshop with my laptop, my laptop just couldn't hold up.
Yeah.
One feature that is very important for Photoshop, when you're animating in Photoshop, is something called onion skinning. What onion skinning does is that it will show you a faded out version of the frame that's happening, that's going before the frame that you're currently on, and also a blurred out version of the frame that's going to go after the frame that they're currently working on. Why? So that you can draw that middle frame. You have the other two frames as reference, so that you can get that frame, that motion better. It's easier, much better, and it's really the only way to do it. If you don't use onion skinning, you're never gonna make any good kind of animation.
Well, I mean, that's kind of like what the Disney animators, right? Back in the day, they had super thin paper, and they would go back and forth and draw it. And I don't know how in the world did they do that. I don't. Yeah, I mean, that's crazy.
And that's why it's called onion skinning, right? Because it's really thin paper. It's like onion. The paper is like onion skin.
Yeah,
right? Really thin. So my computer just cannot handle onion skinning. It couldn't handle it. It's because of the CPU. The CPU is only this 8th generation i7 has only 4 cores, and in normal settings it's 1.9 gigahertz. If you with overclocking, it goes to 3.8 gigahertz. So it's not that great. The one, I mean, it's good for most people, but not for graphic design. The one that I'm getting now, which is a 10th generation i7, has 8 cores instead of 4 8s, double the amount of cores, which means more cores can be allocated for different processings. A core in a CPU, what it does is that it's kind of like when you have a CPU that says that it has 8 cores, it's like you have 8 CPUs essentially. It can do what a CPU does 8 separate times for 8 different things. And then it's standard 3.8 gigahertz, and with overclocking it goes all the way up to 5.1 gigahertz. So I should have no problem with anything that I throw at it. So yeah, I'm excited for that. NZXT is something that if anyone wants to buy a PC, you should look it up. They have a lot of different ranges. They have ranges for pre-built PCs, I mean. So you don't have to, you can custom made a PC with them. You can tell them which parts you have. They have curated parts that work well with each other. So that's another thing that I really like. You don't have to, usually when you buy your own parts and you try to put together your own PC, you have to do a lot of research to make sure that the motherboard is compatible with the CPU and with the card and with the memory. They all curate it for you so that you don't have to go through all that. So obviously their selection is smaller, but it's still, they still have anything that you could want. So you can do it like that, right? You can custom made it like I did, but they also just have some pre-built PCs. They have like an $800 range one, $900 range, $1,000 range, all the way up to $5,000 to $3,000. So they have all those different ranges that you can get. And you can also just choose like a range. Let's say you want the $800 range, and then they allow you to change certain things. You're like, okay, I want the $800 range, but I don't like that the SSD is like 125 gigabytes, like the one that you got. I want it to be a bigger SSD. You can do that, and they'll add the cost or whatever.
Okay.
But that website is so good that they have one build that I was eyeing first, pre-build. But then I said, you know what? Let me go see if I buy all the parts and I make it myself. Let me see how much money I would save.
Mm-hmm.
And when I got all the parts, it came up to the exact same price as the pre-build.
Oh, wow.
So basically, they were not making any money.
Yeah.
It's like, what? So there must be something going on in the background, right? They must be getting these parts. They're probably getting them at a cheaper, at a discount, because maybe they're ordering in bulk these parts, right? And
well,
so
you're paying for ease, right? Like you don't have to think about it. Some people they don't really want to.
But what I'm saying is that they weren't charging anything more.
It was the same.
Like buying the parts and making it myself, having every different part shipped to me, and then putting it together myself was like $2,000. And the pre-build was also $2,000. So they were not making any money, apparently.
Well, no, but yeah, I'm sure. Oh, I see what you're saying. They're probably buying in mass quantities and getting it reduced. Mm-hmm. And they have certain vendors, I'm sure, that are favorable to them that they've made deals with and stuff like that. It's just.
But that's amazing that they've been able to get the price to the point that it's not worth it to make your own computer anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, some people, some enthusiasts will still want to do it because they might want to make like a huge server type monster PC. And NCSC it's not going to do that. No one does that. Like if you want like a state of the art computer, you can't really buy one online. You have to get in contact with like sellers. You have to like call Dell, and Dell will put you through a salesperson, and they'll ask you like, what do you need, and blah 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 blah. And they'll give you a price. If you want something that's like state of the art, the latest of the latest.
Interesting.
Because there's a lot of companies out there that sell component parts. Like even Tesla. I don't know if you knew this, but Tesla, I don't know if it's Tesla or SpaceX. They sell graphics cards for like $25,000 a graphics card. But it's like super state of the art. That's what like Pixar has on their servers and stuff like that.
Huh. Interesting.
So if you want to buy something like that, you can't just go to the store. They're not going to sell you that at the store because no one's going to buy it. You have to go through a person.
Third-party vendors and stuff. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah.
Anyway.
Well,
okay,
Abiel, we are about 40 minutes into this podcast. Do you want to wrap up with the book and then maybe save our other stuff for the other episode?
Let's see, what else was I going to talk about? Stadia, and what was the other thing that I was going to talk about? Yeah, I can totally do that. I was going to talk about Stadia, I said, and I was going to talk about... Well, I'll just give my thoughts on Stadia really quick, and the other thing. I can't remember the other thing right now, so I might not even talk about that. But yeah, go ahead.
So, I am working on a book. It's called Memoirs of a Side Hustler. And it goes into 5 principles of operating a side business, a side gig. And it kind of goes into some of the lessons I've learned, some principles I live by, and some stories I've collected along the way dealing with my side business, dealing with and interacting with people. And Abdiel is actually doing the artwork for the book.
Me? What?
He's already sent me like a few... rough drafts of treatments of the cover, which the cover's done. I'm glad to say.
Yeah, that's done.
He's working.
Do you like the cover?
I like the cover. I love it because I didn't really have a good concept of what I wanted the cover to be. Mm-hmm. If you look on, obviously this book is going to be self-published. It's going to be self-published on Amazon and maybe a few other platforms.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you're gonna publish it on other platforms? Like what?
I was thinking Lula.
Oh, okay.
I haven't really looked into that as much, but it seems like it's the next easiest platform to publish in. I'm not sure what Amazon's rules are on that. I don't think they have if it's my book. I don't think it really matters, but it's very interesting getting into the self-publishing business. Like, I'm curious to see what happens. I'm really excited. My rough timeline, I want the book done by the end of July. And so I'm going to publish it, make sure it has the right formatting. I have Abdul working on the pictures. The book is pretty much written. I just got to, go through and fine tune it, edit it, maybe add a few more stories to it. But I'm kind of excited.
Did you say what the book is about already? I might have spaced out.
Yes. Yeah, it's about.
You said it was about five
principles on how to operate a side business
successfully.
Successfully, yes.
That's important because you can operate it in many ways.
True.
But we want to operate it successfully.
Yeah. And these principles can be applied to a much larger business too, but.
I read the book. I really like it a lot. I recommend it. Okay. This time I want to recommend it. I like that those 5 principles, they're timeless and they can apply anywhere on earth. You could be in the middle of Africa, those 5 principles will still apply.
Yeah.
And it's not a long read. I read the entire thing in like 30 minutes. But it's a draft that I got, right? So I know that you're not going to add that much more to it, but you're going to add maybe a little bit more. But either way, so it's like a 35 minute read. So it doesn't, I like that time is a currency and we don't have a lot of time to invest in things. Sometimes, we really have to choose what we're going to invest our time in. And so I read that book in like 30 minutes and I feel like I ended up getting my time's worth for sure.
Oh, good. I'm happy.
So totally a good use of my time. One thing that I like, and I'm going to tease our audience with this on the book, is that one thing that I like about the book, like to me, if I were to put like the entire message of the book in one sentence, it would be that modesty is a way to succeed. And if I were to put it in a paragraph, it's like people might think that modesty means holding back, but modesty means actually honing in what you are good at and capitalizing on that, and therefore achieving success in that way. So that's one thing that I liked about your book, because in each principle, you tell the person, you have to think about what works for you. What's your space looking like? What's your hobbies looking like? And that everyone has something that they can do on the side to make a little bit of money on the side. And another thing that you mentioned is that really, I'm going to talk about the entire book right now, is that, people put time aside to do important things, like spending time with the family, maybe watching a movie, blah, 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 blah. You can put some time aside every month. It doesn't have to be a lot, but you can put some time aside every month to make a little bit of money on the side. Why not? If you have a side hustle that you make $30 an hour, all you can do is $10 is 10 hours a month. That's cool because that's $300 that you have now in your pocket that you didn't have before.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's cool. It's got my wife and I thinking too, like I about what we can do on the side and whatnot. I'm thinking about photography, whatever. Whatever. We'll see if something happens with that.
Yeah, I'm excited. Like, I really hope we meet that deadline. Some of it's contingent on you. Some of it's contingent on my wife.
The deadline you told me last week, it was 2 weeks, right? So we're like not even halfway.
For the photos.
I'm gonna be done today.
Oh, good. Okay. Cool.
I'm done today. Yeah, today I'm gonna finish the 5 images that I owe you, and I'm good. And I'm done.
I'm looking forward to how it's received on there, and we'll see what happens. I'm gonna try to plug it as much as I can on social media platforms like LinkedIn and social Facebook, Instagram, and stuff like that, and maybe it'll get some buzz. Never know.
Mm-hmm. Cool, man. Cool beans.
Well,
okay, so I think that's a good length right there. I'll talk about Stadia and Photoshop animation on our next episode. So a little bit of tease. Another thing that I wanted to say before we go, actually, I have one correction. Last episode, we talked about the PS5. And you know how we have to talk about the PS5 on every episode. So before we end it, we said that that probably you can't lay the PS5 sideways You actually can.
Oh, okay.
It comes with a, and we jokingly said that if you were to do that, you would probably have to have like a platform under it.
Mm-hmm.
We say that as a joke. Well, that's actually how it works. It'll come with like a little platform. It also makes it so that you can hold it put it like sideways. Somewhere.
Okay, all right, then that's completely acceptable.
Yeah, because exactly, and that's one thing that you use that word acceptable. It's like, yeah, like there was no way that it was just gonna be that standing tall and that's it, because it doesn't work for most entertainment stations. You know? Yeah.
Mm-mm.
But anyway, so that's the one correction. Anyway, so sounds good. Thank you everyone for listening. Thank you all of you out there that are supporting the show by just listening to it and giving comments and likes. If you can support the show over at Patreon, even better. Right now, Patreon is just a way to donate. We don't really have anything to offer if you support us at Patreon, except that you make us you help us be motivated, more motivated to make episodes. But in the future, we will give you perks. Just let me think about it. I just need to think about it for a few more months. Okay. See you, everyone. Thank you for listening. Sean, I'll hand it over to you for your ending words.
Listen to some end credits.
TEA Talk, or T-Talk, is a product of TEA Talk Productions. If you like what you heard, please like and subscribe. You can also support the show on patreon.com. Link is on the description below. For questions, concerns, thoughts, and ideas, please email us at ttalkproductions@gmail.com. You can also leave us a comment on YouTube or use the DM system on Patreon or Instagram. We're available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Google Play Music, SoundCloud, YouTube, and Patreon.